That's bullshit. If they use that for other things, we would see young white men being stopped at record rates for marijuana, since the statistics say that they are the ones who use it most. The reason they do this is because they believe they can get away with doing it in this community. If that was the case, we'd see every white man with a suit stopped in his briefcase because they may be committing a financial crime. They think they can do whatever they want in the black and Latino community, and the broader community will not say anything if they use the word safe around it.
In effect, are delegating and assigning the officers of the NYPD to a practice that is counterproductive, marked by racial bias. I think in some regards it's illegal and unconstitutional because they're stopping and frisking people without reasonable grounds. They are putting their hands in the pockets of people, for example, to search for marijuana or other contraband without reasonable grounds for suspicion. That's illegal and that's unconstitutional. So there are a lot of negatives associated with the stop and frisk tactic.
Pressure to make arrest quotas drives the stop and frisk tactic. And while the NYPD insists reasonable suspicion is behind every stop, their own records show most are stopped for furtive movement or for wearing clothes commonly used in a crime.
Like, I fit the profile for somebody that was having a gun. I was like, there's 20 people out here that's wearing hoodies. Actually, you're a detective and you're wearing a hoodie. You fit the profile yourself.
A collateral damage situation whereby kids are being put through the system, causing real harm to their future job opportunities.
People like me that's actually trying to make a living, honest, decent living, is still getting harassed. I had a manager's position I was supposed to make for my job, and they ran my criminal background. And what stopped me from getting the manager job is because they said that it was a case that was open about me trespassing. And I told them it was in my own neighborhood. How could I do that? And they said that I couldn't get the manager job because of that. So I feel like now my work is starting to come into effect with all this that's going on right now, and I really don't like what's going on.
What's happening in this city is that grandparents and parents of African-American young men actually worry when they send their child out to get a quart of milk. They're not worried about the drug dealer. They're more worried about the interaction with the police.
So at 9 years old, my 9-year-old had a wallet with a non-driver's ID with information from his parents, numbers, so that when he got stopped, with the sole purpose of when he was stopped by the police, because he would be stopped, that was the understanding, that he had ID, so they wouldn't arrest him and put him in jail.
It actually makes the communities where it takes place less safe, because it creates antagonistic relationships between the community and the police force. And the communities would be safer and healthier if there was collaborative relationships and trusting relationships. And that kind of trust and collaboration cannot happen at the same time the city so aggressively applies a stop and frisk tactic.
You could be standing on the corner. You grew up in the neighborhood, so this is our backyard, and you could be standing on the corner and the cop will come up because he said you look suspicious. But in reality, he's just harassing you because you've been doing this your whole life. So, it's a professional way to get searched and everything, but these guys are rude. They throw you up against the wall. They don't give you no explanation. You fit the description. It's the same thing every time. And I've been going through it my whole life, man. I grew up right here on 8th Avenue, and it's gotten to the point where it's harassment.
There's still issues of race and class that permeate all the relationships that exist in the country. and none more inflammatory than the one between upholders of the law and people of color.
We, a lot of times in my community, look at the police as its own gang. As, you know, when they come around, you're nervous, you're concerned, you're watching. You know, they not only harass the people who live there, but, you know, it's watching them harass the young African American and Latino males in the community. And being a mom, that's always my first concern, you know, because I have sons.
Too much harassment out here. You can't do nothing. Can't come to the park, can't go to the store. I go to meet my grandmother at 55th train station, they asking me questions, where you going, what you doing? You look suspicious.
Right. But overall, a general perception was that the police was a part of your community in some sort of way. So when they came out, it gave you a sense of protection or, you know, safety. It enhanced the feeling of safety. Today, I think just the way the police treat the people in my community, the fact that there's nothing done about it, you see no repercussions for their behavior, and no ownership for their behavior.
For the relationship between police anywhere with anyone and the general public to become one of hate instead of one of understanding or even misunderstanding. The only conceivable possible way for policing to change is for policy to change.